when you're the reserve currency of the world, you don't have somebody else's currency to save in. So the United States doesn't have another currency. It stores $600 billion in gold, which is a staggering amount. It's equivalent to 11 million years of American worker wages. So that's kind of crazy. Go to digital gold. Bitcoin, it's much better. And so I do think it's totally rational. The U.S. already owns 1% of the world's Bitcoins. Keep that, increase that. So I do think it is actually a really good policy. There's a couple countries that already do own Bitcoin. It'd be great for the U.S. to get out in the lead. Yeah, I think that's what it was. The uncertainty, we're holding investors back. And I think over 2025, you're going to get much more clear regulations, and that'll allow institutions to come into the space. And presently, most institutions really have almost zero exposure to blockchain. So once they start engaging in the space, it should do well.
So this fund that you run is an institutional fund, correct? Yeah. So what kind of conversations are you having now to segue into that time when institutions can actually allocate money?
Oh, it's really changed since the election. Last summer when the markets were very low and we had very little interest. And since the election, so many people are trying to figure out how to get exposure to the space.
When you hear a Microsoft, I think Michael Saylor just pitched the whole Bitcoin strategy of MicroStrategies to Microsoft. They passed. I think they might have passed in a prior lifetime, but they passed recently. Thoughts on that, he is obviously pushing that, but a lot of people are sort of backing away. I mean, is there another company that's to come in to sort of galvanize what Michael's done?
He's done a great job, raising awareness, but probably most big corporations are not going to have Bitcoin on their balance sheet, just like they don't have yen or bonds or, gold or whatever. But big institutions, insurance companies, pension plans, endowments, they're the ones that are going to come in and really push this market up. What is a security and what is not a security? The regulators in the U.S. are pursuing lawsuits against some of the bigger companies in this space, and so that gives institutions pause. If that gets cleared up, you could imagine institutions wanting to get access to a new asset class. This is very similar to commodities in the 80s or emerging markets in the 90s or mortgages in the 70s and 80s. It's just a new asset class, and most people don't have exposure to it yet. So we've been doing this for 11 years, and Bitcoin's almost gone a little bit more than doubled this year. And so everyone's talking about, isn't that wild, it doubled? On average, it's done that for 11 years in a row, right? So crypto going up double is not remarkable, actually. And so we're normally long because we think the markets are going to go up, another huge amount, like another order of magnitude possibly. So we're typically long. We're always just looking at which other tokens are interesting. We have a big position in TON, Telegram's token, Solana, Ondo. Those are some of ours.
My kids wish I would have allowed them to do it, but if I want to be able to do my job here in the United States Senate, I just felt it best not to invest in the crypto space, even though I see tremendous potential here in America. And as President Trump said, and by the way, I want to congratulate him on his Time Man of the Year award, but as President Trump said, we want to be at the cutting edge of innovation here. If you look at the Biden administration, at this SEC, you look at the regulatory onslaught that they've had to deal with, the fact that they're using, the legal framework that they are, the lack of a legal framework, I should say, to just come in and regulate this industry by litigation. What we're going to look for is a great opportunity for crypto to expand here, again, putting the United States at the cutting edge of the innovation. And I think we're going to attract a lot of brain power here and a lot of opportunity as a result of it.
So your kids, your family, they're like, we could have been multi-millionaires. Like,
Kelly,
great, thanks for doing this.
Please don't bring it up. This is a tough conversation at Thanksgiving and Christmas, as you can imagine. But
I'm curious, Senator, there's a lot of people, and a lot of your peers probably, people who I talk to, who really think that crypto is a waste of capital and is not something that United States should double down on, and get so upset when they hear this talk of different states, whether it's Pennsylvania, now Texas, or us doing something nationally with a Bitcoin reserve. What was your aha moment? Why do you think this has real value for this country?
Well, it's taken some time, and my viewpoint has evolved. As you remember, Kelly, I was the U.S. ambassador to Japan. I saw a massive heist take place there with CoinCheck. I was deeply concerned about, where that cryptocurrency might have landed. But as I dug into the technology and saw the potential of the blockchain, where this could go, it's absolutely amazing. And then if I think about just basic principles.
Moments to catch up with the president-elect, to talk to him about tariffs. Canada has been discussing this quite actively overnight with the president's proposed 25% tariffs. The premier of Ontario has suggested that Canada might halt energy imports into the United States if the president goes ahead with his proposed tariffs. Here's the president's comment.
Well, that's okay if he does that. That's fine. But the United States is subsidizing Canada. It's truly a subsidy, and we shouldn't have to do that. And we have a great relationship. I have so many friends in Canada, but we shouldn't have to subsidize a country. We're subsidizing for more than $100 billion a year, and we shouldn't have to be doing that.
Did he give you any details of where those retaliatory tariffs would be aimed on American goods?
No, Chrystia Freeland's going to put a list together. We're going to put our list together, and I'm sure the other provinces will as well. But we will go to the full extent, depending how far this goes. We will go to the extent of cutting off their energy, going down to Michigan, going down to New York State, and over to Wisconsin. I don't want this to happen.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher, and you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Dan from Pantera Capital on Trump's Bitcoin reserve and backing the U.S. dollar. Now, we know the central banks are buying up gold left and right, but getting free Bitcoin. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And he says that regulation is coming, and we definitely know regulation for stable coins will be next year. And stable coins are really not crypto. Stable coins are nothing but digital dollars, but with smart contracts, they'll be programmable, telling you what, when, and how to buy, and you have 3 to 6 months to spend them or poof, it's gone. And then he also talks about other cryptos that have utility. And we know there's plenty of cryptos that have utility, and these big banks and big corporations have already integrated. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Now we have Senator Bill Hagerty says he wants to help Trump with leading the U.S. in this crypto industry. And he talks about the power of blockchain technology. And in the stock Patreon, I posted coin check going public on the NASDAQ yesterday, and that's the Japanese exchange he was speaking of. Now we have Canada responds to tariff talk from Trump, says they'll halt energy imports if Trump goes forward with these tariffs. Cut off energy going to Wisconsin, Michigan, and New York State. And yes, guys, you heard that correct. The movies are just beginning. Remember I told you, 2025 is going to be stepped up. And speaking of movies, I always tell you when it comes to Jim Cramer, he's always sneaking in technology. But this conversation definitely surprised me. We have Lowe's CEO on the technology that they're using. And the way he's talking, you'd think they were investigating a crime. Cameras, heat maps. And then on top of it, they have partnerships with NVIDIA, Palantir, and OpenAI. Now, I'm an old man. When I was growing up, the only thing that was near the interstate was your restaurants, hotels, and your bases. And what do you see next to every interstate? A Walmart, a Lowe's, or a Home Depot. And they are perfectly positioned for these drone launch pads, a base for these drones. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have another bad Treasury auction, $22 billion for the 30-year bond, and we know nobody wants this long-term paper of the United States. And then $86.5 billion in 1 month in November just to service the debt. And again, over $1 trillion a year just to service the debt. And that's the reason why Doge is going to get cheered on, but people are not going to see all the people that are going to be hurting from layoffs until it hits them. Unfortunately, the sheep are not going to wake up and understand that we're all connected. And that's the reason why my people perish from the lack of knowledge, because they reject it. Not because it's not there, but because they reject it. And you know the Crypto Teacher is going to give you the truth, nothing but the truth. Yes, the truth hurts, but it sets you free. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
You know, we were one of the retailers that continued to expand self-checkout when other retailers were pulling back because they were concerned, you know, with the shrinkage. And one of the things that we determined that you could use, you know, this nudge technology by using cameras and also AI type of interfaces that reminded the customers of what they did and did not scan. And you would be amazed at the effectiveness at that, you know, technology. And now we're testing something else that we're calling dwell, where we put cameras around the store, we put heat maps around the store, and we can determine where customers are versus where our associates are located. And then we can then alert an associate there's a customer that's dwelling in an area that may need customer service. And we can help that associate to get there a lot faster. So our partnerships with computer vision, with NVIDIA, with Palantir, and even with OpenAI has been, you know, really remarkable. And we're working on some really cool initiatives that we'll be rolling out next year.
At the same time, you still...
Yesterday, we learned what the budget deficit was, and $86.5 billion for the month of November to service the debt. That also pushed yields a bit higher.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, you know, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, you know, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, well, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in an index, in ETFs, are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy. And you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a Treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.